Welcome to episode number 58. I'm CJ Wellerman. Thank you for joining us. In this week's episode, we expose how India's ruling party gained and maintained political power by manufacturing fake news about Muslims on social media. But first, a quick reminder to click the subscribe button below so you never miss a single episode. And please help our program by supporting my journalism and activism at patreon.com/CJWellerman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this endeavour without your help. Now let's get into it. The international community is finally waking up to the horrors taking place in India under the criminal Hindu fascist regime of Narendra Modi and his political party, the BJP. In the past week alone, we have witnessed protests against the Indian government in the United States, Turkey, Malaysia, Germany and the United Kingdom. But what India's democratic allies in the Western world do not know are the devious and anti-democratic methods and tools Modi and BJP deployed to first seize power in 2014 and then later consolidate power in 2019. I'm talking about BJP IT Cell, which essentially operates as an online troll army that strategically directs disinformation, propaganda and fake news stories to targeted and vulnerable voters. You see, what BJP recognized very quickly was that by 2012, tens of millions of Indians were gaining access to the internet and social media for the first time, thanks to the increasing accessibility of smartphones. So Modi's party created BJP IT Cell to target constituencies that are greater than 10% internet penetration in the run-up to the 24 national election. It hired more than 20,000 recruits and volunteers to flood social media timelines and messaging apps and the comment sections on YouTube and Facebook with pro-Modi propaganda and fake news stories meant to demonize Muslims. Watch a former BJP IT Cell recruit explain how it manufactured anti-Muslim narratives and then disseminated them on Facebook and into the mainstream media.
मेरा फेसबुक पे और वेबसाइटों पे कंटेंट लिखना रहता था। कोई भी मतलब वेबसाइट जैसे किसी भी आज तक में एबीपी में कोई न्यूज आई है, उस न्यूज को वो न्यूज भले राहुल गांधी के खिलाफ हो, मायावती के, ओवैसी को, उसको घुमा फिरा के हमें उसका हिंदू मुसलमान जोड़ना रहता था।
अच्छा, आपको हर जो भी खबर आती है उसका हिंदू मुसलमान उसमें जोड़ना होता था और फिर शेयर करना।
मतलब कोई किसी का झगड़ा भी हो गया, जैसा मेरा आपसे किसी लापापती हो गया कहीं, तो भी उसको मैं जानबूझकर मैं अपने आप को दलित बना लूंगा या फिर अपने आप को हिंदू बना लूंगा या मुसलमान बना लूंगा, उस टाइप की खबर बना देती उसको। और 5-10 बड़ी वेबसाइटें बड़ी जो है बीजेपी आईटी सेल से चलती है इनसे।
Essentially, BJP IT Cell exists for one purpose only: to target low information voters who possess almost no media literacy skills with fake stories, hateful narratives and dangerous lies meant to improve the political fortunes of Modi and his party. In fact, a recent report by the BBC found that more than 30% of fake news stories shared on WhatsApp are produced to help Modi and BJP. Like this fake quote attributed to Australian journalist Julian Assange. But the BBC also found that 66% of this fake content contains Hindu nationalist tropes meant to stigmatize Muslims and Islam, like this one here that falsely claimed an Islamic fatwa gives Muslims in Saudi Arabia permission to eat their wives if they're hungry. BJP IT Cell generates these fake stories and then pushes them to Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter and right-wing media outlets, where they spread like wildfire, helping BJP mobilize voters on the back of anti-Muslim hysteria. Watch the former BJP IT Cell manager explain how his team would flood Twitter with BJP distributed posts at specific times to dominate trending topics and political discourse online.
लेकिन ट्विटर पे जितने ट्वीट करने होते हैं ना, तो 50 ट्वीट की लिस्ट बना के भेज देते हैं। 50 ट्वीट एक विषय पे 50 ट्वीट बना दिए कि एक साथ में 2000 लोगों को भेज दिया कि इतनी बजकर इतनी मिनट पे आपको ये पोस्ट करना है सारे ट्वीट।
बिल्कुल, यही
अपनी मर्जी से 50 ट्वीट में से अपनी मर्जी से कोई भी ट्वीट चुन सकता है। 10-12 एक साथ में 5-5 ट्वीट मार देते थे, तो मतलब एक साथ में अगर 2000 ट्वीट एक ही समय पे होता है तो वो अपने आप ट्रेंडिंग में आ जाता है।
But Facebook and WhatsApp, which is owned by Facebook, is where the real damage is inflicted upon India's secular democracy and the country's Muslim minority.
फेसबुक तो पूरी बीजेपी की है ना। आप फेसबुक पे तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते आप बीजेपी के खिलाफ में कैंपेनिंग, आपको 2019 में पता चल जाएगा।
क्या मतलब है?
बीजेपी का फेसबुक पे इतना कब्जा है कि बीजेपी चाहे तो पूरे देश में 1 घंटे के अंदर पूरा सांप्रदायिक माहौल बिगाड़ सकती है।
Is it any wonder then why the Modi regime gave Facebook a contract to expand the internet to Indian consumers who cannot afford a broadband connection or smartphone data plan? I mean, the Modi regime is basically Facebook's business partner, so nobody should be surprised that Facebook, the company, operates as a protection racket for Modi and BJP.
So Facebook and Twitter are finding themselves in an unenviable position in India. As the country is dealing with a tragic rise in COVID-19 cases, the government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has requested that both companies remove content from their sites that has been critical of the Modi administration's response to COVID. And Facebook earlier last week temporarily hid all posts that included the hashtag #ResignModi.
Last year, a former Facebook executive cum whistleblower testified to the US Congress that Facebook refuses to remove anti-Muslim content from its site because of the relationship between the company and BJP.
Has been in the headlines for more than one reason this week. There are serious allegations that have emerged against the social media giant by a former employee turned whistleblower who has accused Facebook of prioritizing profit over clamping down on hate speech. She alleges that Facebook was well aware of anti-Muslim narratives being promoted on the platform in India by RSS handles and took no action.
This is deeply disturbing, given UN investigators blame Facebook for inciting the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar, which left more than 20,000 Muslims killed, 18,000 raped, and 1 million displaced.
The revelations were shocking. The UN investigators named Facebook in their report, calling it a useful instrument to spread hate. Another report claims Facebook was turned into a tool for ethnic cleansing in Myanmar, with the military driving the anti-Rohingya propaganda through posts that incited murder and rape.
Now, if that's not reason for alarm, they consider that BJP IT cell pushes anti-Muslim propaganda into the online ecosystem 24/7. Because in India, there are always elections up for grabs at the local and state level.
But he says the problem is more insidious, much larger than just one company, even a juggernaut like Facebook. Disinformation fueled by politics is highly organized in India and a constant.
So it always increases ahead of elections. But in India, there are elections happening all the time. So in that sense, it's a drip which is always a drip.
Here now is an inside look at just one of BJP IT cell's many media units during election time.
कि आप देख रहे हैं हमारे पास एक सोशल मीडिया की लोकल टीम है यहाँ पे और यहाँ पे करीब 10 से 12 लोग काम करते हैं इस टीम के अंदर में जी। इसके अलावा एक हमारी सोशल मीडिया वॉर रूम है जो कि इस रीजन से अलग है, जहाँ पे हमारा हाई एंड ग्राफिक्स डिजाइन होता है, वीडियो बनते हैं जी। और डे टू डे के जितने हमारे मुद्दे होते हैं या जो भी न्यूज़ चल रही है उसके ऊपर हम बना के देते हैं। यहाँ से हम उन पोस्ट को डिफरेंट मीडियम के थ्रू, जैसे फेसबुक हो गया.
But BJP IT cell is becoming far more sophisticated in its operations, as revealed in a recent investigation which found it had deployed a secret app called Tech Fog to artificially inflate the popularity of the party, harass its critics, and manipulate public perceptions across major social media platforms.
To discuss an investigative report which was published by The Wire, a 3-part investigative report which was published over the past week. And this 3-part report essentially exposes the BJP IT cell's network and plus capabilities of doing many things online, manipulating trends, hijacking WhatsApps, and changing URLs and many other features that the Wire has exposed.
Simply put, BJP IT cell has delivered the Modi regime a great number of dubious achievements. It has contributed to the degrading and downgrading of India's democracy. It has contributed to India's attaining its lowest ever ranking on press freedoms. It has contributed to the systematic persecution of Muslims. No doubt India is not the only country in the world faced with a problem with fake news. But if we're looking for the roots of this modern day scourge, which is threatening the guardrails of democracy everywhere, then we must look to BJP IT cell, because its success in helping Modi seize power in 2014 through nefarious and anti-democratic means is ground zero for the proliferation of online political disinformation. Anyway, that's my time for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to this channel and help spread the word of your friends and family on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. and we kindly ask you please support this endeavour by becoming a member of the show at www.patreon.com/CJWerleman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning or good day, wherever you are, and stay blessed.